Gen Zers are now starting to make living at home the norm. So I'm gonna give the top 5 places to list your land that you have for sale.
This is what 400 properties look like?
That's probably 200. I have another
200?
Yeah,
oh, man.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Real Estate and Chill. I'm your host, Kevin Iglesias, associate real estate broker. As always, bringing you $1 million episode. We got the man himself, Charles Noonan, in the building, the number one guy buying land out there. Make some noise. Let's go. Oh, shoot, your gun is
There
you go.
Let's go. Hey, I don't spend all of mine on one parcel, bro. Shoot it all on one parcel,
Oh, man. Letting it rain. You got the Maybach outside, the LV sneakers, the iced out Rolex. Come on, man. You're making moves out here. Buying a lot of land.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Give us some game. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Charles Noonan. I'm the Land Bank King, also known as, and I pride myself on like buying low cost, low entry level real estate, where I help people just get into real estate where it doesn't matter your credit score, doesn't matter your like how much money you got in the bank. If you just have the will and the desire to get into real estate, I can help you out.
How'd you get started into buying land? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they buy real estate, it's either like a flip, quick pick, lipstick in and out.
Yeah.
Like, what made you be like, you know what? Let me buy land instead.
So here's what happened, man. I've been in the game for a long time. I've been in the game of real estate in New York City, where you could buy a 3-family for like $220,000.
Damn.
That's
Bro,
my
how
first
old
house.
are you? Because you look like you 25,
That's
26.
my first house, 903 Home Street, right? It was a 2-family. I paid, I think, $208. Acris is, you can look it up in Acris, right?
Damn, that's cheap.
Yeah, so that's how long I've been in real estate. And market just tanked, and I like 08, 09, I jumped out. But I read a lot, right? I've always studied real estate. Like whatever I do, I read a lot about it. I just read, and try to immerse myself in the subject matter. So in reading, they tell you when stuff's going to happen in the market. It's a matter of, are you going to listen to it and take heed, or are you not? And you're just going to think your real estate portfolio is going to be different. So they were saying the bubble's going to bust, right? I was getting houses with this loan product called NINA, no income, no asset.
Oh,
you
like
familiar with
no
that?
doc loan.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
DCR.
yeah.
They just have different names now, but it's the same stuff.
Yeah. So I was getting property, like me and my 2 friends got into real estate. We was getting property like $200,000, right?
Damn, I wish.
They were saying it's going to bust. They were saying this can't hold like this because everybody was able to get one. As long as you're able to show the money to buy it, you could buy it. So fresh out of college, me and my 2 friends got into the game, got into real estate. Then we ended up selling those properties due to news and forecast around 08. Right? So we start, let's say 2001, 2002, we're buying these properties. Forecasts are saying it's going to bust. So we start selling them $400,000. Same house, right? Lipstick, whatever, renting them out, government programs, same house. We start selling $400,000. We got out. As an entrepreneur, I opened up some businesses and just kind of continued my climb up the corporate ladder, or the financial ladder in that respect. But I always missed the game. It was so easy. It was like mailbox money you make overnight. Back then, Section 8 actually mailed you your check. They didn't really direct deposit it like that. Like it wasn't like that back then. So,
but you've been getting Section 8 checks.
Yeah. But they mail them to you.
Yeah, directly to you.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, I got out the game, but I missed it. I missed it like terribly, bro. Because active income is so different from passive. There's nothing like real estate.
There's nothing like real estate. I'm glad you said that too.
Yeah.
But you got out the game in fear of, like, you got out and you weren't affected by the crash at all.
No, I won.
Damn, that's rare, bro.
But the market, everything tells you, the experts, the analysts tell you this is about to crash.
What were you reading? Like, what were you getting your real estate information from? Like, do you still get that from same platforms to this day?
So like real estate, I'm going to say shows. The New York Times, I read every day still, the real estate section. The Wall Street Journal has a real estate section. Out here, I became very close friends with, let me remember her name, Nadine Malone.
Miss Flixenfip? Is
No,
that her?
no, there was no names like that in 2008, bro. Madison Home Equities. Out here.
I don't know.
Glen Clove.
So all right. So we're in Suffolk. Glen Cove is Nassau. So she was buying a lot of
out here to us.
Yeah.
No, she's the bank.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So her and I became really good friends at a very young age too. She just loved my drive and like my vision, and she would fund every deal I brought to her. Like we just created these investment concepts, right? Me, you, and Mike are gonna get the first house. I'm gonna own 50%. You 25. You 25. We're gonna refinance it. I'm going to give you back your 25, give Mike his 25, right? So now I own it on my own, but now we're all going to go in and buy one for you with the same deal, right? So you own 50 now. So the concept that we had, we were buying houses like crazy back then. She would tell me, right, because she's a lender at the highest level, she would tell me what to do, so to speak. She would advise me, as well as the attorney we had. So they were all in the same office, the same building, right? So the lenders on this side, the closing attorneys on this side, the title companies on this side, the attorney, David Cohen, he was closing. She kind of owned the title company and the lending company.
Oh, so she had a hand in the pot and everything.
Big time. And then the people that were doing the properties, there was a company called Better Homes. I think it was like Better Homes Depot or Better Homes something. They were going into the 5 boroughs, buying vacant properties, the properties that were burned down, fixing them up and selling them to people. But they would do like pre-sale. So they would say, hey, we just got this house. We'll sell it to you in this condition for this amount. As they're renovating it, the price is going up.
Okay. I've seen that before.
Super smart, right?
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
smart. I actually do that with my land now. If I buy a piece of land that I'm developing, I'll take the rendering, give it to a real estate agent and have them pre-sell the house while I'm building it.
I do the same exact thing with my builders.
Come on, bro.
Same exact
thing. Bro. Let it fly, bro.
Let's go.
Let it fly. Yo, that's the easy. So you make your money before it's even built. It's so much easier.
Especially with customization, you up the price, certain things they want to upgrade.
You going like 25% on that? Like,
yeah, but how can you not though? Everything's gone up. Everything's gone up.
Yes. Oh, come on, Kev. Give it up, bro. We killing it.
But so I just want to circle back when you were because you were getting a lot of houses, right? Mm-hmm. And back then it was called, what was it called? The loan?
No income, no asset. Nina.
So they were just basically checking your bank statements and approving you from that.
As long as you had the money to buy it, she would fund it.
So those deals are still out there. It's just a little different now, like non-QM, where they go based off your bank statements, mm-hmm. and if you have a business, they'll verify you and get you pre-approved.
I never answered your question, bro. That's why I jumped out. So when I was that's how I ended up getting land and land bank houses. So when I was trying to get back into the game, the deals that were out there, the prices just didn't make sense to me.
Too inflated, like too high?
There's no money.
Okay.
So I'm buying a house with a mortgage at $1,600 back then for the principal, income taxes, and insurance at $1,800 back then. And the rents were, let's just say, $1,800 a unit back then. So I'm cash flowing $1,800 off of a 2-family. When I looked to get back in, let's just say 2012, 13, 14, there was no way, based on what I had done before and what I purchased before, that I could get into New York City real estate. It just didn't make sense to me. And I kept saying, like, how? Like, how are you buying so that's $600,000 now, maybe 7 and 8. I'm like, how does that how are y'all doing it? How does it make sense? It just never added up to me. It never equated to enough money to me. I'm risk averse, right? I don't like debt. I don't like going into a lot of debt. It worries me because I honor my debts, right? Just as a person. So I'm not the type that's going to have a $50 million portfolio and have $46 million worth of debt on it. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to have, like I have now, 400 properties that I own debt free. That's just easier for me.
Oh, before you continue, you got the proof, you got the receipts. There's a binder right there, Mike. If you want to grab it really quick.
Yeah,
you
bro.
really brought out the receipts. This is what 400 properties look like?
That's probably 200. I have another
200?
Yeah,
oh, man.
Yeah. So those are
deeds. Man. And these are owned outright.
Yeah.
No debt.
Yeah, but this is the thing, man. The price of those are like anywhere from like $300 deeds for parcels of land to like $5,000 land bank houses. So it's not like, it's not 400 two families. It's comprised of like a quarter acre, an acre, 2 acres, and a bunch of one family houses are in the back.
But you know what they say? They say buy land because they're not making any more of it.
They're not making any more. It's easy to get in. It's easy to justify, right? So I could buy a piece of land for $500 and sell it for $10,000.
Where though? Like, where is this happening? Because New York, I mean, $500 is not going to get you like a piece of grass.
I don't like New York real estate.
No, not at all.
No, I own a brownstone in Brooklyn. I own a condo a little bit north, and I own them outright. New York City real estate just don't make sense to me.
I mean, again, it's just the prices, like the money, the margin.
It makes no sense. The block that I live on, the same houses that are next to me that my neighbors are buying are close to $3 million, right? And I'm looking at them like, it's the same size as my house. You could only do so much with like 2,200 square feet, right? It's just not worth it to me. Now, the market dictates that it is, but the value to me is just not there. So I'll give you the top three places to buy land bank properties. All right. And these are markets that I've studied. So I was way ahead of the curve on Detroit, right? So you got the Detroit Land Bank, you got the Muncie Land Bank, Muncie, Indiana. Then you have Shelby County Land Bank in Tennessee. Top 3 land banks where you guys can make a ton of money buying vacant properties.
Now, just rewinding back, so you looked at the market in New York, was like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What was that first property that you purchased and was like, this is the wave, like this is what I got to get into?
So here's what happened. Appreciation hit Brooklyn, and it started going crazy, like when they built the Barclays Center.
So gentrification, basically.
Gentrification leads to appreciation, right? Instant, right? Instant. So I really started thinking about my kids, and I was just saying, like, these guys won't be able to afford $2 million houses in this area. They're going to have to go somewhere crazy. So I started to look at investing for them, and I was just looking to buy properties for them. I was looking to buy like $50,000 properties in the middle of nowhere. It didn't matter where. I actually turned Zillow upside down. I sorted a national sort from low to high, where I was just looking to buy the cheapest. Give me $800 a month. Give me $1,000 a month. We could put it in accounts for them, and by the time they graduate college, they'll have enough cash flow to probably afford a $2 million mortgage. That was the concept and the thought process. Then I found the Detroit Land Bank. They don't market anymore, but they did have houses on Zillow back then, and I'm talking like probably 2017 at this point. They had houses where they were selling for $1,000.
Man.
And it's still, to this day, like you can go on buildingdetroit.org, you will see houses being auctioned and sold for starting at $1,000. They also, buildingdetroit.org has a side lot program where you can buy lots of land for $100.
That's cheap.
Changed my whole perspective. So I started buying properties there because I feel like you can't go, if you only got $1,000 in, bro, it's not that much you can lose. If they're paying $1,000 or $1,200 for a 3-bedroom house, I just have to renovate it. Land banks are government entities that focus on vacant, dilapidated, and abandoned properties and bringing them back to use, right? Land bank properties are the properties that they focus on. So my concept was, let me grab these properties, renovate them, $30,000, $40,000, whatever it's going to cost, right? They come in all different conditions. So obviously I'm thinking gut renovation, right? And then I'm just thinking, let me renovate these and easily cash flowing properties, no debt. They could serve the purpose of building a portfolio where they could afford like a $2 million home.
Isn't it crazy though, just to say that out loud, that in a couple years, real estate is going to be so expensive that like New Yorkers won't be able to purchase here in New York. Like that's how much prices have gone up. Like you said, I'm seeing properties sell in 2019 that now they're selling for like double, triple the price.
Yeah.
Like it's becoming so expensive that people are being forced out of the market because they can't afford a home.
That's the thing, bro. And here's what's worse. I'm gonna tell you something that's worse. I think they call it Gen Z.
Yeah, that's you, right? You're
I don't want to pick on Mike, but check it out. Here's something crazy, right? There's a study that I read in the New York Times that says Gen Zers are now starting to make living at home the norm. Whereas my generation, you wanted to get the hell out of your parents' house as soon as possible by any means necessary.
Yeah.
Gen Zers are coming back and saying, Mom, Dad, I can't afford to live nowhere. I'm just going to, it is what it is. Regardless of my age, they're not leaving. They're coming back and they're staying after school, even if they don't go to school or whatever. They're making it normal to just live with their parents. We used to call them back in the days basement warriors, right? Especially, no knock to Queens, right? No knock to Queens or any other borough or anywhere. But Queens is known for, like, you grow up, you graduate, and then you live in your parents' basement, right? And we used to call them basement warriors. But now, it's like with the prices of real estate, it's normal. It just is what it is. So now you got the brother as a basement warrior. Then you got the sister as what we call a middle room warrior because she's living upstairs in the middle room of like the first floor. So to avoid all of that, man, it's
damn.
like,
I was both.
You was both?
Until I bought my house.
So this is real. This is real stuff. No knock on you, bro. No knock.
But like you said, I had to get out of there, like by any means necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't in the best environment either. I was in the basement, got kicked out the basement, went to the middle room.
Your parents kicked you out the basement. You left. It was like, hey, this is hard. And then it's like,
they're like, we're going to need to occupy this space. Send me back to the middle room. I'm just like, damn, this is the same place I was when I graduated high school. I got to get the heck up out of here. Isn't it? It's like, that's when like you hit rock bottom. It's
you can't
like,
make no noise in that living with that bitch. You laughing because you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
100%.
Plus, nobody wants to come visit you in the middle room.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Can't have company. Can't have, you know what I mean? It's different.
Well, so let's ask Mike. Mike, how does that work?
Nah, Mike's a boss, bro.
Mike's bossed up.
Mike's bossed up.
All right, cool. Do you have friends that are basement warriors?
Yeah, most of my friends are basement warriors.
But it's normal.
Yeah.
You're not knocking it. Or a company comes over, girl comes over, and you're like, hey, we're going to go around and we're going to go downstairs. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford. So when we wanted to leave, we just had to get enough to get an apartment. We out of there.
Yeah.
Roommates, out of there, right? You get a roommate. That's just the start, right?
Right.
Now, the money is it costs so much. You almost can't even do that. So they're normalizing that basement action, man. That middle room action is being normalized.
But it's just everything has gone up. You know what I mean? Everything is so expensive.
Yeah.
Now with the interest rates that are much higher, your monthly payment is going to be much more than it was during COVID.
And here's another thing that changed too. The job market changed. I read a study in the Wall Street Journal that says you should switch your job. The normal trajectory of climbing the corporate ladder in America says you should switch your job once every 5 years. So with that, the job market shifting, like how can you safely, comfortably commit to a 30-year mortgage when your job's changing every 5 years? The market's changing. Jobs are being eliminated, right? The whole scheme of things is changing. The landscape is changing. So it really becomes hard. So in my opinion, you have to get in the game of real estate to dominate the game of real estate. You can't dominate real estate outside because you dominate outside, you're going to spend all your money on real estate.
I'm glad you said that because people always try to time the market, right? Like, oh, the market's gonna crash, the market's gonna crash, but it's all about your time in the market. You know what I mean? You'll never know how deep the water is if you don't jump in. Like you gotta take the risk.
So that's why I created the land bank team, right? I want to allow people opportunities to get into the game of real estate at like a low risk, low falter opportunity. So you buy a piece of land, you don't really deal with contractors as much. If you want to sell it and make money, you just list it and you sell it, and now you're making money. I also teach people how to create passive income from land. So now I teach people how you can buy a piece of land for $600. Real example, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. They have auctions where they have them. They used to have them quarterly. Now they have them semi-annually, where you can go buy land there worth $20,000 for $600-$700.
Damn.
I teach listing it. I'm gonna give the top 5. Can I teach?
Of course, go ahead. Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna give the top 5 places to list your land that you have for sale. Land.com, unsoldland.org, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. The number 5 place to sell vacant land that people really sleep on, but it sells a lot, eBay.
Really?
I knew I would get that face, bro. I knew I would get that face. We trade land on eBay all the time.
For like really?
Yeah, big place.
Damn, I never would have thought of that. Mike's about to pull it up right now.
Go for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So to get passive income through land, you just buy it from the auctions, right? And then you sell it on seller finance. So I may take a $600 piece of land, right? Any one of those that's in that book, put it on land.com for $15,000 and sell it for $600 a month over the course of a 24-month period.
So you're doing like a land lease basically?
Yeah.
And to businesses, what exactly?
It's most of our customers are people that want to build.
Okay.
So people, like you said earlier, they don't know where to go to buy land. So land.com is like the Zillow for land, right? That's like where people across the country go. It's the #1 search site. So they'll go there and they'll see land. For the most part, if it's in an area that I invest or that I'm selling land, I'm coming up first because I'm gonna manipulate that site to make sure that my land comes up first. So even though I'm selling it for $15,000, I'm gonna list it at the seller finance amount of $624. So I got 2 acres, which is priced at $15,000, but it's listed at $600, and you just have to read the entire
description,
the entire description to understand that I'm seller financing it.
All right, so let me play a scenario, right? You see a piece of land, let's just say in PA, $600. You buy it. What's the next move? Do you look into if you could build on it as far as permits? Do you check in with the town? Like how deep is the search go?
So I created an acronym to be able to teach for the team to look it up. It's called Africa, and it talks about like understanding the area of buildability in a specific county, understanding that you need road frontage, right? So the F is for frontage. It has to have road frontage for access. Because if land doesn't have road frontage and it's like back here, you buying it there can't get to it. So we make sure that it has access to the road. We check for sewage, water, and it's a whole full acronym of information that you look for. And then that helps your listing. So if someone's looking to build, you're going to say buildable, zone for R2, has water and septic or water and sewer. Sometimes, and don't be afraid, for those of you that are looking to buy land, don't be afraid to have a septic, to buy a piece of land that has water but not sewer. Because if you have to get a septic tank, one of the benefits to having a septic tank is that your renter doesn't have to pay sewage. So oftentimes the water bill might be $300, right? $200 for water and $100 for sewer. That sewer bill is now eliminated because you have your septic tank. So if you find land that doesn't have sewer but has water, don't shy away from it. It's going to be like $15,000 to get a septic tank, but over time you save money because you eliminate that sewer bill.
So let me ask you a question.
Hold up, bro. We got to let it go. We gotta let it go for that.
I ran out, but there's more.
There's no
more.
such thing, bro. There's no such thing. We printing it.
All right, so running that scenario, right? You bring in a lot of investors or first-time investors, just people in general, to buy land. Are you buying? Well, are you helping them buy with the intent of building on it, or like what exactly like is the play? Like, let's just say you see 100 acres.
Yeah.
1,000 people want to get involved. You know, what does that look like?
Auctions don't really have that size. It's really my whole community that I have is really focused on putting new investors in an environment that could help make them most successful. So I'm going to teach you the acronym. I'm going to teach you everything we know about land. As you saw, we took like hundreds of people to an auction. I'm going to teach you where to buy it. So that's one thing I pride myself too on, is I'm going to teach you almost like where to go get the lowest land, the best land at the least expensive price. And then I'm going to, here's how we actually do it. We organize the properties on an auction and we earmark them for the people in the community. So you're going to say, Charles, I want this one. It's earmarked to you. So we don't bid against each other at the auctions.
Got it. So you basically have like a whole system down packed.
A whole system, bro, where none of us, so let's just say the community, we're going to go to the auction. We're going to freaking dominate. You're going to get yours. Mike's getting his. I'm getting mine. Somebody else is getting theirs. We're not competing. And then we have a software, again, just through reading, where we can tell where the auctions are going to be. We typically go to live auctions. So land banks are sites that you can go to buy. Auctions, there's like over the counter, they're online, and then they're live. We typically go to live auctions because there's less competition. As an investor, I could only go to one auction at a time. I could only be at one auction at a time. So we strategically do the homework to find out how many properties were for sale at the last auction and how many were purchased. And then we'll all go to that one and try to make our purchases. Everybody in the community has their own goals. So, and it's typically based on where they are financially. So if you got a lot of money and you're looking to build, you're going to go to the auction with the idea of building. If you kind of low on cash, you're just getting into the game, you don't have a lot, you might go and you might say, all right, I'm going to go flip these first 3 pieces of property that I have. Now that I got my money, now I want to build. And I think building, just so you know, bro, building is the way to in real estate.
You've developed a lot of houses and
not a lot. I'm up to 6.
Okay, that's a good amount though.
Yeah.
And all right, so it's different because New York is different, right? You can't find a land for like 600,000, not even 15,000.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. We're here in Suffolk County. A plot of land, maybe 20.25. So let's just say a quarter, right? Going for like 150.
Okay.
Now to build on that, you're talking just framing and everything else, house wise, you're talking another 250 or so, depending 250 to 300,000, depending on how premium you want to go in the build. Yeah. Right? So that's easily what? 250 plus 150, 400,000, let's just say. That's not including like permits and everything else.
Permits are cheap. Now, what are the houses going for?
Like 6 and change. 6 and change. 7.
Where else in real estate? This is what I'm saying. This is the best way. Where else in real estate can you clear $250,000 and not touch anything?
But let me ask you this, because that's New York, right? What is it?
The same math applies everywhere.
As far as building wise?
Yeah. So here's another thing too.
Just the land is cheaper though.
The land is cheaper, but we don't really even care about the land being cheaper. You have to do the math and drill down like your vendors to kind of bring the cost down to build. So I've built property for 170.
Damn. Like
right?
Permits, everything included? Like
Yeah. It's a matter of driving down your lumber. It's a matter of using a site called Premier. There's a program called Premier. It's a GPO, group purchasing organization, where you can buy from Home Depot and Lowe's in bulk. You take advantage of their bulk pricing, and you get discounts on that. So I really took like a corporate analytical approach to real estate and driving down the cost of building. So we now know where to buy the land for the super cheap price. We now know how to drive the cost down for the low, right? So there's no waste in cost, and we're getting every possible discount that we can on the cost. and you just said yourself, like hypothetical scenario, 250,000. If it takes 6 months to do that, you could use one of our lenders that will lend you money. And here's a dope thing about this environment, bro. This community is killer. We have a lender that if you get the right deal at 70%, they'll lend 70%. You can leave closing with your cash advance for your draw, meaning you don't even have to come out of your pocket for your draw.
Wow.
Your contractor breaks it up into 4 draws, right? Stage, let's just say 1 through 4, 4 through 8, 8 through 12, 12 to 16. You can leave closing with some of this in your hand, bro. Yo, it's killer, man. But that's it. So that's the scenario. That's the best scenario in real estate. It's building. I haven't found in my years in real estate a better way to make money and be profitable at the lowest risk than building from the ground up. There just is none to me. Burr strategy is cooking people, man. They going under with that strategy. Pulling all the money out, right? You're not pulling out 250 on a flip and still making money. It's just not happening. That portfolio, like how many units do you have to have at $500 a door to make $250,000 in 6 months? It's a ridiculous number, right? But we just described the scenario with building from the ground up. You can get that 250 in 6 months. It's about building your team, having reliable builders, making sure you tip your builders when they're done, helping them, making their life easy. So when I'm building right now in Birmingham, Alabama. Research study shows Birmingham, Alabama is going to be the next hot spot. I'm working with the mayor as well. And the governor announced a $7.7 billion cash infusion into Birmingham, Alabama.
So they're building it up, and
Governor Kay Ivey, just Google this. Governor Kay Ivey announces $7.7 billion infusion into Alabama. So you do the research like that. When I go to Alabama, I'm calling my guys a couple days ahead. Hey, is there anything you need? What supplies are you guys going to need? Right? I'm going to try to order some stuff at Home Depot for them. You also drill your vendors down too. So you need the best lumber. You need the best cost on quality lumber when you're building too. You can't just get lumber from anywhere, because if they don't know you, they might, this is just real scenario, right? They might give you the cheap lumber, the lumber that's not that good. Yeah, it's we just broke it down, man. I used my corporate experience to really like tie in with real estate and really impact the bottom line and save and cut costs and eliminate waste at every level.
Did you used to work on Wall Street?
No, on Vesey Street. So I spent 7 years at American Express.
Okay, because you said corporate background. I figured.
Yeah. I did really well too. It was so easy. So from being an entrepreneur to like the market crashing and tanking to having to actually get a job, like that job wasn't bad, bro. I used to think corporate America was bad because I was making money as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, I might as well just take a job. I was looking at what a friend of mine, like, bro, working not that bad. Like, what do y'all be complaining about? But it's just that I was wired to wear so many hats that just wearing one was easy.
Now, all right, we're talking about all the beautiful things in real estate, right? But give us some real horror stories, right? Like, what was an experience that you went through? Like, damn, this didn't play out the way I thought it would. You know, you hear so many stories about like contractors jerking you, robbing you, or like you said, selling you material that you thought was premium and it's not.
All of the above, bro. I've been through like my real estate war scars are as bad as anybody else's.
How do you manage that? Because all right, you're in New York, you're buying properties out of state. Like, how do you manage that?
Well, one, from a psychological perspective, you take it on the chin, you learn from it, and you can't stop. I feel like in life, when you don't lose in life until you quit. When you quit,
I agree.
That's when you lost. If you don't quit, let's say you're doing a renovation and you just get taken for your deposit twice. If you don't quit and you don't give that house to a wholesaler and you learn from both of those experiences and you really vet that contractor, you'll make that money back. It's just going to take you longer. You just 30,000 in the hole, right? And you'll recover. So here's how I deal with it, bro. I almost factor it in, but I start my work with each individual in smaller portions. So I'm never going to give a contract a $50,000 deposit on the first job.
That's crazy too, though. That's a lot.
Yeah, but when you're dealing with large sums, right? If I'm building for $400,000 and they're saying they need
okay, I got you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? They're saying they need $50,000 for permits, grading, excavation, survey, and foundation. And I'm like, yeah, so we're just gonna send you an invoice for it. And then they disappear. It is like you have to you lost. So you just have to do like a better vetting process. But I'll tell you what I do, how I eliminate losses now when I'm doing houses in different areas. There are solar powered Wi-Fi cameras. The solar powered Wi-Fi camera system that we use that works on a SIM card. So as soon as we buy a land bank property, like a vacant house, before we work with the contractor, you don't have your contractor set these cameras up. You get somebody off of TaskRabbit, you get somebody off of Angie's List to set the camera system up. So now you have visibility to your property. You can see and hear everything through these cameras. They don't need to be plugged in. They don't need Wi-Fi because they come with a SIM card. So now when you introduce yourself, and we teach this in the community, when you're working with the contractor, you're going to tell them, hey, do me a favor. Before you stop by, I'm going to need you to give me a call before you get to the property because we're not there. I'm going to need you to give me a call because we have this crazy alarm system that alerts the police if I don't disarm it. So now that puts your contractors in a point where it's like, all right, Charles is an experienced investor. If I go there without his permission, the cops are going to come. It ain't even me. So it's not like I'm calling the cops.
Right.
It's like the cops are going to come because the number one suspect in every house robbery where things disappear is who?
Contractor?
The contractor, right? Number one suspect. And it puts the relationship in such a weird place because who's the first person to tell you that the house got robbed? The contractor. Who knows when you're there and you're not there? The contractor, right? He's going in and out. So to eliminate that, which is our biggest fear, right? Buying supplies and losing them, contractors running off, contractors not finishing, which have all happened to me. So we use this camera system and we have that conversation. But what it does, it keeps them honest. It keeps them accountable. So I teach how to have a conversation with the contractor. Hey, what time do you normally start your day? I'm just trying to get an understanding. Oh, yeah, I'll be on the job at 8. All right, so cool. Just call me before you get there. You said 8, right? All right, so just call me so I could disarm it. I'm not disarming or arming anything. It's a surveillance camera, right? It's just sending me the data, and it will alert me when people are on the property and stuff. But it keeps them accountable, and it lets me get to know them and their habits and history.
The character, because consciously, when you hear, hey, this house has cameras, you're already like, I can't do anything that I shouldn't be doing in this house.
He on this.
Yeah.
He on me. I can't. Yeah,
so it makes sense. All right, so finding land, right? You're saying you have a lender that would help you get the house built on this property, you're saying, as far as financing and everything else?
Yeah.
Now, how does somebody qualify for that? Like, what are the qualifications of, building and constructing a home on land?
So that's a great question, man. And again, it all points back to community because there's so many loan programs out there that we just don't know about. Brokers sometimes have hundreds of products that they can offer. So we have lenders that don't necessarily require you to have experience. One of the biggest things that people shy away from getting into building or ground up construction is that they don't have the experience. So we have lenders that don't require experience. What they do is they're going to leverage the experience of your contractor. That's a hack to getting into ground up construction. You're either going to partner with your contractor and use their experience, or you're going to have a lender that's going to leverage the experience, the recent builds of your contractor. So that allows you to get in a lot easier. Then they very similar to other loan products. They'll go up to 70% of what the market value is. So they're going to lend 70% of that $600,000 that you described, which is $420,000, which we came up with $450. So now you can build at $30,000, right? That will cover the 70% and allow you in.
Damn, that's something I didn't know.
That's what we're here for, bro. hey, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on,
Shoot it.
Oh,
Damn, I feel like your gun was fully loaded, man. It has
infinite.
not run out.
It's infinite. There's enough. There is enough. There's enough. It's enough to go around.
So, all right. So right now you have what, 400 parcels, or this is like a combination of houses, rentals,
houses and land. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And as far as like doors, like house wise, like compared versus, how much land you have versus how many
32.
32 houses.
32 doors. Yeah.
And this is all debt free.
Debt free. Yeah. They are $5,000 houses, $8,000 houses that you buy from the land bank. So the land bank is structuring deals where I'm going to sell you this house for $1,000, but you have to complete the requirements on this checklist, which are, you gotta board it up, you gotta clean it out, you have to give me new kitchen, new bathroom, windows, right? You gotta make it livable and uplifted.
So it has to be habitable. But they give you an entire checklist of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Getting it at that price.
Yeah. And then so they hold a small interest, maybe like a really small interest in the title. And then once you submit that checklist, which is done by pictures, some land banks operate like this, some don't. But buildingdetroit.org, which is the land bank in Detroit, they want you to submit them pictures of your kitchen, your bathroom, that you have windows and doors on the property and things like that. And then they release the interest, which is called the ROI. They release the interest and you own it debt free.
Is there any like stipulations in those deals? Like, all right, it's like Habitat for Humanity. I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of that. Mm-hmm. Habitat for Humanity. They build houses for people in situations where they're not financially stable, or they've been through something, a crisis, etc. But there's always like a stipulation in their builds that you can't sell it within like 10 periods. If not, there's like fines and penalties involved. Is there something like that in the land like field or in those ones? Yeah,
sometimes, yeah. But we just don't use them. We just don't go there. So there is a land bank, Wilmington Land Bank. It has 3 components to it. You can buy it to sell it. So there's like an application process to that one. And we don't really use land banks that have application process. We typically just go buy it, like an over-the-counter at a land bank or a small auction where people just don't know about them. So it's very little competition. But Wilmington Land Bank has 3 programs. One where you can buy the property for $1, but they want you to live in it. That's their highest points system on their grading system, because they want people that live in them, because of course if you live in it, you'll take care of it a lot better than somebody like me who's out of state that won't hear about it until 3:00, right? I won't know about a lot of the stuff until it goes through my management company, through my business manager, then to me, and then I say, okay, send Kev to fix it, right? So there might be a leak for until the morning, right?
Now you own all these properties. Like, what's the goal for you, right? I feel like I feel like you're very analytical, right? Is it like I need to own 100 pieces of land, like 100 lots, 100 homes? Like, what's that goal look like for you?
So right now, financially, we're kind of straight, right? Kids are straight. They have their binders and portfolios. I'm really more into impacting the community. And what I'm focused on right now is building a community. We just came out with the color of the door. We're going to do a community with all red doors in Birmingham, Alabama. So it's building, but building through my community to where the impact of that, I think, is just going to be like, it's going to live forever. We're going to build properties and our signature is going to be like a red door. And we're just going to try to impact an entire neighborhood and a community on our own through land acquisition and building with the help of the mayor and the governor.
So you're thinking legacy, basically.
Yeah, it's more long-term. It's more like that larger than life play to where you got like a little kid that's like, hey, Dad, why all these doors red in this neighborhood? And he tells a story like this New Yorker came down here with like 300 people, and they just enhanced the community in this way.
That's amazing, man. Like, what's like the exit strategy for somebody who's looking to invest in this? Is it, buy the land, lease it, hold on to it, buy the land, flip it? What's the exit strategy?
Bro, it depends on where you are financially. So we also have a group, and we teach things. We teach all exit strategies, right? We teach if you just wanted to buy land and flip it. We teach if you wanted to buy those houses, do the minimum repairs and wholesale it, right? Because that's like a prehab. We teach that. We teach buying it, getting a tenant, like buy and hold. If you want to do like a program, there's a number of programs now. And this is the only way I would get back into real estate in New York. If I did something like a group home where I'm getting like $1,500 a bed and then billing the state for services on the individuals that we serve. That's a big money play with people making millions of dollars in real estate.
The 32 houses or
Yep.
34? Okay, the 32, besides your primary, any of those in New York? Or they're,
No.
Oh, they're
No,
all
no.
outside of New York?
Yeah. I own a brownstone. Live in like 3 places, right? I own a condo in the South, a brownstone in Brooklyn, and a place a little bit north.
Okay.
And the rest are rental properties in Michigan, Birmingham, Alabama, Pennsylvania.
So your primary, you were saying that it just jumped up in equity as far as everything else,
Yeah.
$3 million brownstones around you. But you want to keep it strictly debt-free where you don't want to touch that equity and pull that money out. I mean, you don't need to.
So we have, I'll say African Americans have the largest rate of foreclosure. There's like 64% are in eminent domain right now, which is risk at going into foreclosure and losing their properties. So I've just adapted this debt-free strategy as far as like real estate being one of the pillars to building generational wealth, to where if we have the properties debt-free, we'll never lose them to foreclosure. As long as we pay the taxes and insurance.
You gotta pay those taxes and insurance. Yeah.
As long as we pay that's 2 and 3, bro. As long as we pay the taxes and insurance, we keep the properties, and they're so much easier to pass down than if I was passing down a portfolio of 35 houses, which had debt associated with them, and like my kids had to manage the entire portfolio. Right? We get calls all day long about things not working. The more impoverished area you invest in, the more excuses you get about rent. Not saying A-class real estate doesn't have it, but it's just the problems are different. Going into D-class and C-class neighborhoods, we get calls all day long about issues and problems. When they're debt-free, it's easy. It's all right, I'm not going to make 12, I'm going to make 8 this month off of that property. It's not, hey, we're not going to make the $1,200 mortgage. We only made 8, and I got to come out of my pocket $400, right? I know my kids, they wouldn't do it. They'd be like, wait, I'm going to risk money at the end of the month by owning this portfolio? They're like, nah, sell it. How much is it worth, right? But if it's no risk, if you're just going to get money every month from it, it's easier to pass down. It's easier to inherit. It's easier to operate because it's all money coming in.
No, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Where can people like join the community? Like how do they get, put on, and where can they sign up? Where can they take the mentorship?
So it's a typical school community on the platform SKOOL. That is like, it's a phenomenal platform because it allows me to have, and I realize, right, not everybody's going to be able to have money to buy properties like I do. So inside the community, we have experts in there that will help anybody along. We have a credit specialist in the community who is the best of the best with credit. Like, this guy is, like, I've never seen someone so immersed into credit. We have a funding specialist who can help with funding. So we teach to buy in an LLC. So she'll help build and structure out your corporation to get you funded to be able to buy. And then here's one where I think separates me from every other community. I have a travel specialist who will help you get 3 to 6 miles per dollar on all the spend that you do on either building or renovating properties. So now when you see like 200 people behind me at auctions and things like that, we're doing that because we're traveling for free. You see people extremely happy. It's because they know how to actually like go to these places for free. And it's small things like buying through a website where Home Depot will give you back, buying through Home Depot at specific websites where they give you back like 3 to 6 miles per dollar. Things that's crazy where.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. So just the link in my bio on Instagram is at Charles J. Noonan. You'll see it. Join our school community. And it's super inexpensive. I like teaching at this point, so I made it affordable for everybody. It's $49 a month.
It's not bad at all.
Like, you get everything. You're going to get me teaching you. You're going to get access to a credit specialist if you need it. We realize you're going to need some level of funding. So you get the lenders that we use, but you also get some business funding in case you needed to come up with that $30,000 down payment. We could give you help with that too.
So you guys are pretty much like have it all set up for anybody who wants to learn.
It's all about the community. It's all about the environment. I'm a huge believer in environment.
So let me ask you a question. Let's just say, one of your most successful students, like what have they been able to accomplish being in the community?
And I'll give you one. I'll give you a guy. So there's so many components. So we have one person that has 39 properties.
Wow.
Her name is Efua. And she's part of like this, I don't want to say the wrong community, bro. I want to say Ghanaian community, her church. She wants to build out a village. And she has over 39 properties is the last I counted. And I had to tell her, like, stop. You got to cash flow these before you start buying more. So she went crazy. She has 39 properties. Then I have a gentleman who started investing in Michigan. His name is Manny. He has 8 properties that he cash flows from in Michigan. He started building in Pennsylvania. And he recently, I just learned this. People don't tell me all the stuff they do either. Sometimes I find out when I see them or speak to them. But he built 3 houses in Pennsylvania and cashed out on them crazy. He made tons of money. But he also showed me the other day the house that he built that he lives in. And that was like the biggest impact to me he not only did I teach him how to make money in real estate, but he didn't have to go to, no knock to the realtors out there, right? But he had a team of builders, right? To where he didn't have to go pay market value for a house. He knew how to build it. He knew the local contractors. It's in Matamoros, Pennsylvania. It's right bordering Port Jervis, New York. So it's upstate New York, or I think that's maybe West New York or somewhere. Very close to It's Pennsylvania and the New York border. When he told me that, I almost cried, man, because I didn't realize how much I was teaching people, how much I was educating people. And I almost cried, man. He makes a ton of money in real estate, but the fact that he built his own house based off of the information that I gave him, he applied it. He found his builder. He made money through buying land and building, and then he designed and built his own house. I was like, man, this is powerful.
It's a huge impact.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's amazing, though, man. Look, you gave us so many gems, so much information. Anything else you could leave us off with before we sign off, man? I'm going to say, if you guys are new to getting into real estate, whatever avenue you decide to start in, just do your homework, do your research, follow your instinct, make sure the money makes sense to you, make sure it makes you feel good. So if $300 a door doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Figure out ways to do those deals that make sense to you. Because if I just followed the trends and I stayed in New York real estate, I might not be where I am today. Sometimes that adversity, it brings out like character. It brings out creativity to where you say, all right, New York is tapped out. There's no money here, but why am I stuck here? And then I just started to buy in other places.
So yeah, if the numbers don't make sense, don't do it.
There's a lot of people that say you shouldn't buy out of state until you own your own property here and you're close to it, like it's tangible. You can touch it, you can see it. Obviously, you don't agree with that.
Technology.
100%. Yeah.
Technology. That's just the smallest mindset of thinking. Because if you think about franchise owners, I know some franchise owners that, make a ton of money. They own 42 restaurants. And if you're thinking you got to go to every restaurant every day, you'll never grow that big. If you're thinking you have to go touch your stores and touch everything, you'll never do it. You just have to have systems in place, systems and processes in place to where you can do it, but from a 10,000-foot view. So you are overlooking your portfolio and you're managing it like a business as opposed to like a landlord.
It's gems, man. Gems.
Let's
Again,
go.
bro,
Let's see
we
if we
appreciate
out.
you.
Let's see if we out.
We got to
got
sign
more?
off all the way from.
I knew it.
That was the last shot. That was the last shot. You got
shot.
money. You got more money there. Look, again, where can they reach you? Where can they find you at?
At Instagram, Charles J. Noonan. Also, I teach on the Land Bank Show. Once a week.
That's your platform.
That's the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's the podcast.
Make sure you go subscribe there as well.
Yeah.
Tune in. A lot of gems. I appreciate you driving out from Brooklyn, man. I know it was a drive.
Of course, bro.
But yeah, we appreciate you being here, man. A lot of game.
We make it happen.
Of course. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you guys on the next one.